Now we're onto the research section, which is quite a bit bigger than the analysis of the brief. First thing we need to do is research some other designs similar to ours. So if we're doing, say, a timber jury box, we need to go and investigate other timber jury boxes that are out there, that are currently available on the marketplace. So on Google here, I've just searched timber jury boxes and found some pictures and some websites that talk about the design and construction and sale of timber jury boxes that roughly look like something I might make in class. And here I'm getting some ideas and just gathering some research as to what type of construction I want to make. Another site you can use is Flickr. That's another good site. So I'm going to search timber jury boxes again in this search bar. You can type in beanbags if you're making a beanbag and search other types of beanbags. You could search menus if you're making a menu for food technology. Once you've got that, you need to paste that information in, and you want to research at least about 5 different projects and then list the positive and negative about each, which is the evaluation section of that. So that's the other design similar to yours. We went and found the images and then we evaluated each, and you know how to do that with your positive and negative, or things I like and dislike about that picture. So now we're going to move on to the larger of the 2 sections under research, and that is the materials, tools and techniques research. Basically having a look at all the materials that are out there that I might use, so all the different types of fabric, all the different types of timber, all the different types of menu construction tools that are materials I can use, and then do that for tools and techniques as well. Once I research each one, I have to analyse them, and evaluate them, and write a conclusion as to which material or tool or technique is the best to use. So I've decided I'm going to make a beanbag, so I'm going to go to Spotlight because I know they've got some on the Spotlight website under projects, which is at the top bar here, across the top there, projects, there it is. They have some projects under there, and they have beanbags. They have kid-sized beanbags there, which is an actual project which is drawn up, which tells you all the materials you need, some construction tips, construction methods, and some patterns there as well on how to make beanbags. I'm just going to resize this so we can have a look better. And over the page you'll see there it says what will I need, and it gives me a list of materials. There's some instructions there on how to make it, and then the left hand side of the page there's a pattern. So this is all research. This is all your research into your beanbag, and you may have done this for jewelry boxes as well, or for menus. You may have looked at different menus out there that are of different restaurants that you know, or different timber jewelry boxes that are on the marketplace on different websites. So another material that I might use in my timber jewelry box, say, might be pine. I might be tossing up whether to make my box out of either pine or jarrah, or pine and Oregon. I might be tossing up between a couple of different types of timber. So I need to research those different types of timber, and here's a radiata pine for instance sake. It's telling me there it's a soft tree. It's talking about the different pores and fibres in the wood. And here we have menus. So I flicked over here to the menus page. So if you're making a menu, this is an example of a menu out there on the internet, and I'm basically having a look at the construction materials here used. This would be paper or cardboard used for this type of menu, I would say, in a restaurant. You'd probably sit down at the table and there'd be a paper or menu version of this menu sitting in front of you. So I need to research different types of paper and cardboard that I might use to make that menu. So I go off to a paper types and finishes website and have a look at, say, art paper and coated paper and uncoated paper, and have a look at the properties of each and decide what I'm going to use. I don't know which paper or card you're thinking of using. You need to research that. So once I've done a bit of initial research, which is what all that sort of Googling around is, I then need to compile all that evidence of research into a bit of a table. And that's what I'm saying there, is using the information you've gathered previously. That is all that Googled information, like at the Spotlight website here. So you might have gone to Spotlight and had a look at, say, silk. You might have thought you were going to make your beanbag out of silk. and you're going to compare that to, say, making your beanbag out of leather or polycotton. So you would compare those materials, and so you can see underneath there I have a picture of the material I've got is silk in that picture box, and then I evaluate it for cost and also use. So I've got silk. This material would be good because, and cost, this material costs so many dollars per metre, and I will need about how many metres you need. And you can do that for pine and cardboard and paper. And you would need to do this for all the different types of possibilities of cardboard, of timber, and of actual fabrics that you're thinking of using for your projects. So this might go on and on for 2 or 3 pages, this section. Under tools, we need to also do some tool research. So let's say we're making the timber jewelry box. We might use a page like this to tell us the name of all the tools that we're using. So we can see there hammer and mallet and chisels, so forth, going down the page. I don't care whether you draw them or get pictures from internet sites, but you need to get a picture that looks something like the tool, and then you need to name it. Okay, so obviously that is a hammer, so I've written hammer there, and this is the most important part. You need to tell me how you use that in your project. So I've got there, in my project, just here, in my project, I used the hammer to put my small nails into the rebate joints and base. That tells me exactly what you used your hammer for. So that would be a good response there for a hammer. You need to do that for every tool. So in sewing, you might do that for, say, a hand sewing needle might be one of your tools, or scissors for cutting out your fabric. So that's tools wrapped up. Now techniques. Techniques is a bit harder, and it's probably not as long because it is a bit harder. So what I need you to do is go in and research the different techniques. So in woodworks, one of your techniques, for example, would be, say, using a tenon saw, okay, or cutting a rebate joint. You need to tell me all about that technique, and you may have found some websites out there that give you some information and tips on cutting rebate joints or using a tenon saw correctly. You can also use information you gathered from your teacher. Let's go and have a look at a recap of the existing solutions. Now you're going to require about 5 of these, and I've only got 2 here, but these are existing solutions, and we've evaluated those for their positive and negative aspects, the things you like and dislike. So you might really like the fact that the colour of the timber is nice, but you might dislike that it's got knobs on it or something like that. So there's some of the things you need to look at for existing solutions. If we go on to the next page, you're going to have many pages of these, not just one. This is one example page. So from Lincraft, we've gone and researched, say, the type of fabric you're going to use for your beanbag, and this one's cotton. On there it's got everything about the cotton, the size it comes in, the price, and a little bit the colours and what it looks like. So a fair bit of information can come from there, and use that information from all those pages to compile the materials evaluation page. And I've got 3 materials here, silk, leather and cotton, listed in a table, and I evaluated each for their different qualities, and decided we make it out of leather. So my materials conclusion page tells me that after researching all the types of materials, I'm going to make it out of leather due to those 4 reasons there: strength, cost, availability and aesthetics. If we go down to our tool research, we've covered this quite heavily, and basically it's pictures of the tools, the name and the use. Over the page we need a tool conclusion page, which tells us what tools we're deciding to use to make in the project, and this will be pretty much directed by your teacher as well, if you want to get the information off them. If you don't understand this section, basically you've decided to use the hammer, the screwdriver, descender and the drill press for those reasons there, due to training, safety and availability. And on the last page, techniques. So you might have 5 different techniques. Here's an example of one, which is making a rebate joint for the box. Another technique might be planing. Here's some information and a picture telling us how to make a rebate joint, and that will be techniques. And those pages are an example of, a small example of the research section.